Alaska, Juneau's a great place to see.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of What's So Funny, a show that talks about the funny with the people who make it happen. Now, our guest this week is a little different. In addition to a formal education in hotel management, broadcasting, a background in butchery and equine cosplay, he also happens to be one of the top comedians around and the host of the new television program, Humour Resources. It's Jon Dore. And of course, we have your host, a man so excited by the new year because he gets to remind everyone about how fruitless their resolutions will be. It's Guy McPherson.
Thank you, Sam. Good to hear you. Welcome, John. Hey, Sam, I knew everything that you said about John except for equine cosplay.
Yes.
What's that all about?
Oh, a wonderful 2017 appearance on Conan.
Ah.
Oh, John didn't
Now
even
I
know
get
it.
I'm glad Guy jumped in there because I thought, okay, now you're being silly. This is the Sean Cullen version of the intro where it's just silliness. But yeah, because butchery, are you speaking about one of my former jobs?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Well done. How did you know that?
Guy McPherson is a great researcher.
Oh, yeah. I worked in a butcher shop and was fired.
You were fired? How long into it?
Oh, I'd been there for a good year and a bit. It was a ridiculous place to be. I don't want to get into it. I could if you want, but no, equine cosplay. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. That would be a centaur costume.
Yes.
Yes.
That was all Sam, that part. But yeah, I knew you worked as a butcher. But so you don't want to say why you were fired?
Well, I was not a butcher. I worked at a butcher shop. So,
Okay.
I mean, to be a butcher, you have to know how to take down a hind of meat, and cut it, and you have to be able to, you have to cut that thing so you're not wasting any of the product. And I would just destroy it. I'd throw out most of the good meat probably. So yeah, you have to be. Yeah, I don't know what the qualifications are for butcher, but you'd have to study and then become a butcher. I just worked the window. I would tie up chicken cordon bleus and chicken Kievs and debone chicken breasts and, put deli meat together for people. But yeah, one day I showed up late and they didn't like me anyway. And then the owner said, "You're fired."
Who could not like Jon Dore? But you were not cut out for that job, and I don't mean that as a terrible pun.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good thing that they fired you.
Well, it was a weird time in my life. I had dropped out of high school and was getting my diploma through night school. So I worked in the butcher shop from 7 a.m. till 5 p.m., then raced over to night school classes Monday through Thursday to finish my high school degree or diploma. And yeah, it was a nightmare.
And it's well known that you studied broadcasting, and that's how you started out. But is it as well known that you also were in hotel management?
I don't know how well known either of them are. However, yes, I.
Well,
did.
it's on your Wikipedia page.
Oh, is that
the
right?
First one.
I wonder
broadcasting.
I wonder what
added
else is
it.
there. Did you add it? Really? You should. Yes, I studied hotel restaurant management when I finally got my diploma from high school after the butcher shop. I thought I am going to study hotel restaurant management, and I'm going to come after this butcher one day who fired me. But yeah, I studied a year of it, to be honest with you, and I bailed. But the beauty of taking hotel restaurant management, this is a story for those listening about how it may not be what you want to do, but maybe it leads you to something that changes your life. When I was studying hotel restaurant management, Sam and Guy,
Mm-hmm.
at the time, Pacific Hotels, I believe it was called, interviewed people and welcomed me out. I got a job working at the Banff Springs Hotel, and I worked out there for a summer. And while working out there for the summer, I started to think about what I really wanted to do, and I eventually applied for television broadcasting, and I never looked back. Except now, while I'm telling this story, I'm looking back to remember it. But other than that, I've never looked back.
See, as you're describing this, I see you as a hotel manager. Like you're supposed to write what you know, and I can see this a situation comedy or a single camera comedy where you were a hotel manager and then you have all these
Mhm.
guests coming through.
Basil
Yeah.
Fawlty.
Oh, it's been done, and you're saying?
Well, no, I just mean you could do a new version of it. You could do a
Yeah,
Fawlty Towers update. That was more of a bed and breakfast, but to really zero in on what it takes to run
a
like
big
a big
hotel.
hotel. Yeah, that could be
Newport.
Yeah. So there's a new project for you. Although you have a project out now, which is pretty damn funny, but all your projects are, and it's Humor Resources
this is
on
true.
CBC. I want to talk about that for a bit. You know, a lot of projects you do, and then you think, oh, what can we call this? What can we call this? But I get the sense that you came up with the title first.
Well, we did not.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
No?
Yeah, you're wrong on this one, but I can see why you would think that. Um, but yeah, no, the title actually came pretty late in the game. Well, until
What was it? What was the working title?
we just called it Human Resources with Jon Dore, and then so myself and Adam Brody, Dave Durlaney, the two directors and co-creators and writers, I work with them on just about everything, Jon Dore television show and specials, and
It was
um,
a great show, by the way.
too
The
kind.
John Dore television show.
Thank you, but you're too kind. And yes, sketches that we would do at Just for Laughs. So they're I trustworthy, super incredibly smart people who can take ideas and trim the fat. And that's not a butcher reference either. I gotta forget about that. I don't look back. But Adam and Dave, yeah, believe it was Adam who said, "Are we opposed to the idea of humor resources?" Sometimes you float ideas like, "Oh, this might be too stupid," and
Right,
it
two
got
on the nose.
yeah, but it got floated and it had to be the name of the title. It had to be the title of the show. There was no other way. So yeah, that
Yeah.
came just before we pitched it to the CBC, but the show had been around for a little while.
The other question I have is it's on CBC, and normally somebody like you, a big star in the United States of America,
That's not true.
might in years past have gone CBC, no way. But with the success of Schitt's Creek and of Kim's Convenience and these shows that are breaking away, I mean, they start out on the CBC, but they're getting a worldwide audience. It's no hindrance to knock on that door now, right?
Well,
You're
hold on.
happy to be there.
I take issue with something you assumed about me. What do you mean I would say no way to the
Well, I
CBC?
mean, that's just, a Canadian's perspective that somebody who has success in the United States wouldn't want to look back, to go back and work in Canada on a show that would only be seen in Canada by Canadians who go, "Oh, nothing's good on Canadian TV." But that isn't the case anymore.
Oh, interesting. I've never felt that way.
Oh, good.
And I definitely didn't feel that way. No, I would have worked no, I would have pitched this show to the CBC gladly, prior to the pandemic at any point. Yeah, I think the most creative freedom I've ever had was on Canadian television, and
True.
yeah,
Yeah, you swear on this.
uh,
Network TV.
we do. It airs after 9:30 when the kids are supposed to be in bed, but who knows with these jackass parents running around these days? Am I
No
right or am I
kidding.
right? Oh my
You're
goodness!
right.
But I thought that yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of freedom, and obviously I knew Michelle Daly over at CBC. I had a relationship with her. She helped to
You had a
put to
relationship with her? This is not appropriate.
why?
And she gave you a show.
A relationship can mean a lot of things. It's more interesting that when you heard relationship, you immediately thought of a
Mhm.
particular kind of relationship. I think it says more about you than it does about me, but I digress, and I'd rather not pursue that digression any further. But guy, what I was saying was Michelle Daly was the executive producer on the John Dore television show, and I'd seen her at Just for Laughs a few times. So when this idea came along, and we brought it to the CBC, I think that definitely helped.
Yeah. And I mean, often is the case that a Canadian performer needs to get well known outside of Canada before we go, hey, they must be good.
But I don't I would argue that. I don't think I'm well known outside of Canada. I don't even think I'm well known in Canada.
You're
I
on an
think I'm
ABC
lucky enough
TV
to
sitcom, two of them maybe, maybe more. I don't know. I can't keep track of everything about you. And just, your old jobs in butcher
Oh
shops and things
man,
like that.
you appeared on the Alan Thicke show.
I did, yeah.
Well, not the Alan Thicke
No,
show,
no,
right?
an
It was
Alan
one of
Thicke
his
show.
shows. Yeah.
reality show. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That's good
Yeah,
enough for me.
and you're Conan and uh
that's true. Yeah,
yeah, so you've got your bona fides. How do you say that?
I say bona fides.
Yeah, okay, good. So, there you go. You are well known outside of Canada.
You wore me
It
down.
has been
Okay, fine.
established.
You wore me down. I agree.
But I also want to talk about the show. So you're a human resources a manager for comedians, and you interview them, and like your old show, the Jon Dore television show, the interviews, I suspect, are not scripted. The guests don't know what you're going to say, correct?
Correct.
Correct. Yeah. And you bring out these arcane facts about them and you challenge them on certain things like you would in a human resources meeting when you're reviewing somebody's job performance.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty great concept.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it kind of it had existed for a while. Well, not a while, I should say, about a year prior to pitching it to the CBC. But it existed as a short form where I would just do these interviews. We were looking for Comedy Central to maybe pick it up as a digital special, or not a special, but digital series where I do like 5-minute interviews and just pass that around online. So it was going to be pretty lo-fi. And then yeah, when the pandemic hit and the CBC lost its Olympic programming in hockey, they didn't know how long hockey would be gone. Yeah, they kind of had windows of opportunity. So yeah, Just for Laughs actually approached us about the concept because they talked to our manager asking them about ideas, and he suggested this short form concept. And then they asked, could you expand it to 22 minutes? And then we got really creative, and it got a lot of fun because then the show became not just about these interviews with comedians, and but it also talks about each episode has a theme, and we talk about life in a pandemic and what it's like to homeschool a 6-year-old, or what the
Yeah.
stresses on your relationship are and what the responsibilities are and who your friends are in a pandemic. I become friends with a guy who works at a drive-through. So you never see his face, but you hear his voice. So
Yeah.
these are the kinds of things that were really fun to explore, and it cemented the theme for us too. It let us talk about the theme in my everyday life that you get to see. And if I'd only listened to my own advice that I give comedians in the interviews, my life would probably be better. But I don't, because my characters always have to fail somehow.
And if this doesn't sound like it's up your alley, listener, just know that on the very first episode, the first shot of John is his crotch.
That is very true. That is very true. Yeah. We were exploring Zoom culture as well. The idea of having to work through a laptop, and that's the other thing about the show that might be interesting to some people who haven't seen it is every shot is motivated by the cameras that exist in our everyday lives. So our laptops, our cell phones, our Alexa devices, Nest cams, security cams, the drive-through cam. So every shot in the show is motivated by a camera that exists in our lives.
Interesting. Yes, I noticed that without processing that until you said it.
That's great. That's good because
Yeah.
we want people to just watch like it's somewhat seamless, but you'll never see a shot in the show other than the establishing shots that just kind of show us, what time of day it is and where we are. Other than that, everything is completely motivated by these cameras.
Yeah, so it's like your old show. There's elements of reality in that you're talking to real comedians and interviewing them in your unique way, but there's also this through line, this storyline where you are not real. But is that really your girlfriend and her daughter?
It is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is.
So they now have acting chops, which I assume they didn't have before, or did they?
Well, yeah, I mean, my girlfriend was really nervous, and we didn't know either. When you're on a tight schedule and you have to pull off these scenes and without a lot of coverage either, it was concerning, but it was really the only way we could do a safe production in lockdown. This is before any production was up and running. So it was who is in my life that I'm going to, act off of. And they were great. I had complete faith in her. I know she has the ability to, and was phenomenal. And then Emma, her daughter, we kind of write around their strengths, so we know how much time Emma has, the 6-year-old, before she loses her mind and starts screaming. So you keep her
She's
fed.
great in it. She's great.
Amazing. She's wonderful in it.
And does she know that she's performing, or is she just being herself?
She knows, but she's not like a set kid. She's never been on a set. She doesn't know what an audition is. She knew I used to make videos with her all the time. So she sees the world just through a cell phone camera type thing. Doesn't see the world, but she's familiar with that. But this was a production where we had, 2 assistants and, a camera rigged to the windshield. So it's very different. So she doesn't know not to look into the lens, etc. But she was great. A lot of her stuff is jump cut, and I would defer talking to her. I would give that responsibility to Adam and Dave, the directors, and they would be speaking to her through a laptop sitting on the front passenger seat. And it worked really well because she's familiar with me, so she will push back and yell at me, whereas Adam and Dave, she feels the need to impress them. So yeah, she followed direction really well. We got lucky.
Oh, wow, that's great. Yeah, and the show is set in Squamish, but you are not in Squamish.
Correct. Yes.
That is the Canadian content, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Geez, I love that you watched it. You're very detailed with these questions, and I do appreciate it because we shot
I've
it.
seen 3 of them. 3
You've
of
seen
the
3?
6.
Oh, I
Yeah.
guess so, because you saw the screener, right?
Yeah.
Which was episode 3.
And then I watched on demand now, which you can do. They have 2 there on the CBC on demand, and I watched both of them.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you for watching.
Yeah.
So you know a little bit more about what's going on. Yeah.
Then
But
you
yeah,
do?
no, than most people because you've
Oh,
seen
I see,
episode
yeah.
3. So you've got because you've seen Christina and Emma in episode 1. Then the storyline becomes me without Christina having to deal with Emma in our work-life balance episode. And then you get to
Correct.
see me without either of them in our big walking through the woods, what's going to happen? Am I going to die episode?
Yes, that's right. That was the first one I saw, and that was a few weeks ago. I think, Sam, you saw that one. Did you?
Sam's
Sam
gone.
has
Sorry,
left.
no, I'm here.
It's okay, dude. Don't worry. What were you doing, Sam? Be honest. What were you doing?
I was trying to figure out why my computer was like so hot. It was making a lot of noise, and I had
Is
to
it on
go.
the? Are you on the stove? Is the
I-
stove on?
It's
So you
in the
know-
oven, John. I'm baking
Is
dinner.
okay. Got it. Is the oven on?
No.
Oh well, then that should be
Yeah,
fine.
exactly. I just had an extra tab or 2 window open for Chrome.
Yeah, that'll do it.
No, I don't. I'll be honest. I haven't watched it.
Oh, you haven't?
No, I
Okay,
haven't.
well, at least you're honest.
I'm very honest, and why
Well,
wouldn't I be?
if you're gonna have your laptop in the oven, you gotta watch it. Like
Well,
you have
I
to be
will.
monitoring it.
Yeah, if it's in Squamish where it's
Yeah.
set,
Well, now have you seen the episode guy was talking about?
no,
Oh, okay. Did he send it to you?
no.
Oh,
I did.
Oh, yes, I lied.
wait, you lied or you forgot?
No, I lied. Absolutely.
Why did you lie?
Because I wanted to cover my
Yeah, I'm
tracks.
right here, Sam. You think I'm going to cover for you?
Well, Guy, I can lie about and in front of you, but not in front of our guest.
So wait a minute.
I'm
Wait a
being
minute.
found out.
Guys, what happened? When did Guy send you the screener of the episode of our television show for you to watch? When was that? And remember, Guy's here. I can always ask him.
Well, he doesn't know.
Well, I'm pretty sure he would know about when he would have sent it. When did he
He
send it?
sent it back in November because that's when we were talking about originally talking.
Right. So you didn't have enough time, I guess, to watch it. I get it.
Well,
In these last 2 months.
What have you been up to in November, December?
Well, I don't know if you
and
guys
part of
know there's
January?
a pandemic going on.
Yeah, you've probably been busy.
Very busy.
What have you been
Out and
doing?
about.
I've been watching reruns of Evening at the Improv.
Well, again, that's a lie, but that's okay.
It's actually not, but
Oh, wow.
yeah, that's one of my most watched programs on Amazon Prime.
Okay. Well, I wonder if maybe we should put a pin in this, Guy. You tell me. You're running it. But
Yeah.
maybe we put a pin in this recording. We let Sam go watch the program if he's not
Yeah.
busy tinkering with his computer and watching 1980s stand-up specials. If he has the time, maybe he could watch it. And then when you ask him,
Okay.
he can contribute.
We're going to take a little break. And we'll be right back.
I don't
after
know if I have
Sam's
time. I
watched
don't know
it.
if I have time for that suggestion.
No, we're going to take a break.
Okay.
And we're back. Sam, how was it?
Did
Oh,
you?
let me tell you, I will be honest. I love Ronnie Chang so much, and the idea of you sitting in your office with your neck brace is
Mhm.
something we can all relate to. Now I'm
That's
looking at
true.
the back here, and you have a diploma on the wall.
Yeah.
Is that your diploma from Algonquin College?
Well, you watched the entire episode, correct?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, so why did I you did wait, you didn't watch it?
I don't know what to tell you. It was the
Why
third
did we
Guy
episode.
break for half an
let's
hour?
put a pin in
What were
this.
you
Let's
doing?
put a pin in this.
Okay, here
Let's
we
come
go.
back. Let's
We're
come
just
back.
gonna be. We'll come right back.
And we're back. And
Wow.
did you like it?
I thought that was fantastic, John. Thank you so much.
No problem. I'm just glad you took the time to watch it. I appreciate it.
It had mature subject matter, and I gotta say, I love it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's safe for, most of the family, I'd imagine, depending on your family, but we have no choice but to put that disclaimer
Mhm.
before each act.
I'll be honest with you, I think it would be important to have on there anytime you have a Snapchat filter on.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know
There
what
you
you're
go.
talking about.
I don't, so that's
Oh,
why I
didn't you watch
stayed
the
out of that.
episodes, Guy?
Let's
Well,
put it
I
tell you
watched it
what,
back
guy,
in November.
let's put a pin in this, let Guy watch it again. Too much time has gone by. Let's
Okay,
put a
hang
pin
on.
in
Let
this
me
and we'll
get
be
the
right
remote.
back.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
And we'll be right back.
Oh, that was good. Yeah, I get it now. Yeah,
Yeah.
Snapchat filter.
Yeah. So the show
Oh,
opened
that
with
is good.
the cat face. That's right.
Yes.
Mm.
So,
Yeah. So, John,
mhm.
you've done 6 episodes, and I know The Office started with only 6 episodes, and then they were picked up. Is this it for you, or do you hope to do more?
Oh no, we hope to do more. Absolutely.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was really fun, and I cannot I don't know how I can possibly explain these how frustrating it was at times to pull this off. Like, we were making a broadcast quality television show with essentially 3 people, and I was part of the 3 on the crew. We were talking to people from Los Angeles, directors from Los Angeles and Toronto, people in Montreal, um, all over North America, through a feed, and trying to make this television program. It was incredibly, for people who don't know how difficult the technical aspect of this can be, this was absolutely, we were worried that we weren't going to get the footage and the audio captured properly, but we did, and it looks great, I think, anyway.
Yeah, which just makes you think how useless most of those people on set are.
No, it makes me, I mean, we could have, I mean, lots of things we cannot use because, yeah, it wasn't suitable. We had to reshoot a few things as well, as a direct result of not having enough hands on deck. But anyway, I say all of that just to say it's been such a rewarding experience, and to see it come together, I'm very happy with it, quite proud of it. So, I always imagined the show being kind of a sitcom anyway, where people would come to me as their HR manager. I don't know if it would work in like a sitcom world though. I think this is the right format for it because it can't feel like this is a real position, but to
Mm.
treat it as a real position works in this format, I think. But anyway, no, we hope
Hmm.
to do it again. We'd love the numbers to be undeniable and have the CBC asked to pick up, even just another 6 would be fine. But I think it'd be
Yeah.
really fun to shoot. I can't imagine this pandemic's going to lift, sooner than,
Mm.
I don't know when. I can't predict it, but I mean, it would be perfect if we could do another season of this. It'd be great.
Yeah, let's fingers crossed for the pandemic to last.
Well,
Is that what am I to understand from what you
no, I
just
mean,
said?
I would give up a second season of this TV show if I could go to Blues Fest in Ottawa this summer. That would make me happy. A massive,
Blues
a
Fest.
So
massive outdoor concert with my friends.
Blues
Yeah.
Fest, what has been your favorite performance you saw at the Ottawa Blues Fest?
Well, it may not have been my favorite performance, but it was my favorite experience.
Oh, even better.
Why?
Because it's very much personal then, right? I mean, everyone would say seeing, Joey DeFrancesco along with Buddy Guy would be the greatest show ever, but your own experience is what we're most interested in.
So my favorite experience, Guy, was um, when I got to see the Foo Fighters a couple of years ago in the middle of a hot, hazy summer in Ottawa.
Those great blues artists, the Foo Fighters. Yeah.
Well, this is what you have to understand. There are blues acts. However, they bring in, I mean, last year was who else? I mean, Beck was the same year as well.
Mm.
But I mean, the Tragically Hip would perform at Blues Fest, Sam Roberts Band, bunch of, huge acts from the United States. Cheap Trick.
Oh, great.
And so anyway, no, but Foo Fighters was great because we were all on mushrooms, incredibly high. And it was just this hot, hazy summer with like, how many people were there? A good 20, 30,000 outdoors.
Mhm.
And my friend Casey passed out in the middle and we had to pull him out. And yeah, on mushrooms with going through a crowd the wrong way,
Oh,
like not the wrong
jeez.
way, but turning around and seeing all these human beings who are elbowing you in the head because they don't care about you. You're just disrupting their time. It was highly enjoyable. It was like running the gauntlet of elbows and jerks. So it was wonderful. It was crazy. We danced and sang, and it was fun. It was hanging out with friends. So that's what I miss.
Was
Give me that.
was this
Mhm.
was this your friend Casey Corbin?
Yes, some know him as
Ah,
Corey Corbin. But yeah, that would be Casey Corbin. That was Casey
who
Corbin. I shouldn't tell too much. I don't know, but yeah, he had a rough go of it. So we had to carry him out.
and he's one of the funniest guests on the 3 episodes I've seen on, your new program,
I
and
love
you were great with him, and I guess that's because you're so close to him that you had a good chemistry.
Well, it's interesting. We spend like a good hour interviewing each person at least. And so we knew what we were going to get with Sarah. I think, Sarah is so concise and funny
Mhm.
and aware and conscious, socially conscious. And then, you'd get Nikki Glazer who did her homework and prepared. And they can speak about, success in different ways. And then Casey, being a road warrior style comedian who I know well, we thought, and I pushed really hard for Casey because I knew he could tell a story in a very adorable and funny way about cooking and life on the road. So Casey,
Yeah.
for those who didn't see,
Yeah.
was a guy who, you know, takes great pride in using the ice bin for a salad to mix salad in and use the ice tongs to serve it. And yeah, he
Yeah.
has strong opinions about how to make things like beefaroni in a coffee maker.
Yeah, he was great. By the way, Sarah Silverman was your first guest on episode number 1 or the first one that aired on CBC, and do you know who first told Sarah about you?
What? Who told her about me?
Yeah, back in 2008.
Mm.
Um, who told Sarah about? Oh, are you? Oh, Reggie Watts.
Well, it was me. But she
Oh,
says also Reggie told her, but I have my email and I sent her a clip of your show and I said it was just like her show, where you're both playing sort of jerk versions of yourselves. And I reminded her of that recently and she said, "Oh yeah, now I remember." And also Reggie Watts. So I don't know who was first.
interesting. Well, number one, I appreciate you sharing the show. I think, unless you're saying, "Hey, this is just like yours."
No, no, I was saying you're gonna like this guy. He's really funny, and the show reminds me. It's not the same show, obviously, but
Yeah.
it reminds me. It has that element of
Yeah, I would
yeah.
I would argue that Sarah's show is extremely thoughtful, whereas our show was quite juvenile. I think that sophomoric. I think we had um, some interesting episodes that I'm a little bit more proud of than others, for sure. I guess everyone feels that way about what they do, but there are some where I'm quite disappointed that we didn't take the time to craft them better. But you watch Sarah's show, and it is just incredibly
It's
thoughtful. I
hilarious
thought.
too. Yeah.
Ah, but I mean, her
Uh,
insincerity, there's no question. When I watched season 1 of her show, I'm like, "Uh-oh, this we're in the same ballpark here, character-wise."
yeah. Also, anniversary. Yesterday, it came up on my Facebook feed. They give you memories. 9 years ago, yesterday, you, Jon Dore, gave me, Guy McPherson, a Scarborough Country T-shirt, and I'm
Oh,
wearing that right now as we're speaking.
I remember that, the basketball logo, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that. Was
a
that
gift.
Did I give that to you at the mall, or was that
No, that was at Comedy Mix
it
backstage
was at the
after you
mix?
performed.
Oh,
You
okay.
brought it to me as you promised. I wasn't there to collect. I just, was hoping maybe. And you came through.
Yeah.
Hey, we're late on this, but we got to get you to do a cold read if you will scroll to the
Oh
bottom of the
yeah.
page.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, it's right there. I see it. So no scrolling necessary. Just read it. I haven't read it yet. Do I just read it for the first time,
Yeah,
or do you
just
want me to?
read it. Yeah, go ahead. You could do whatever you want with it.
And if I don't do it well, do I do it again?
We'll see.
This is Jon Dore, and you're listening to What's So Funny on CFRO 100.5 FM, Vancouver Co-op Radio.
Well, you did that very well.
Can I
Nailed
do it?
it.
Can I do it again?
Oh, okay.
This is Jon Dore, and you're listening to What's So Funny with Sam and Guy on CFRO 100.5 FM. That's frequency modulation, Vancouver Co-op Radio. Co-op. That's cooperative.
That is great.
Hey.
Although I will ask you to put my name ahead of Sam's.
This is Jon Dore, and you're listening to What's So Funny with Guy and Sam on CFRO. Those are the call letters. 100.5 FM, frequency modulation, Vancouver Co-op, cooperative radio.
Yes.
All three are gold.
I think the
Thanks.
last one's the best, but I mean, you're going to use the first one, let's be honest.
I'm going to use all three, to be
Yeah.
honest.
He'll use all three.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm wearing my Scarborough T-shirt that you gave me 9 years ago. And that reminds me, other guests that I really enjoyed on your new show, Humour Resources on CBC, were the Lucas brothers, who I've interviewed, and they are brilliant.
They are.
Not only funny and stoners, but so smart. We talked philosophy in our interview. Like they got their masters in philosophy. They know their stuff.
That's right, they do. Yeah, we
Yeah.
we talked a little philosophy on our show, but yeah, it was hard to break them. They knew their
So
stuff.
they do. And yeah, so you have a history. They are the Black Scarborough.
Well, I would call them the Lucas brothers,
Ah.
but that's just me. Guy,
Fair enough.
you can call people, whatever you want, but I wouldn't.
No, you have an affinity for twin stand-up comics. So they were accusing you of being I forget their
Singleton,
term,
a singleton.
a singleton. Yeah, but
Hmm.
you have a history of supporting twin comics.
I was disappointed in the Lucas brothers for using terms like singleton.
Mhm.
I was in the moment, and it was difficult for me to respond to them. But I've always considered myself a very open-minded, empathetic person. So when it comes to twins, yeah, to me, it doesn't matter if you need two mics or one. You're telling jokes and just put on a show. Um, but
You
yeah,
are a good-hearted man.
I know.
And like Sarah, like both her earlier comedy, not so much now. She was a jerk, like
Was she?
said inappropriate things. Yeah, like that first season of her show, as you say, like she would be the butt of the joke. And if
Right.
you didn't understand that, you might think, she's a racist, but
Well,
she
that's what I mean.
wasn't. She was
But
she,
but
she was being the idiot.
oh,
But
well, you said
also,
jerk. You said jerk. Being an idiot's different.
Mhm.
okay. And you two specifically are two of the nicest people I know.
Oh, that's sweet. My goodness.
Thank
Sam, do you have a compliment?
John, very few people have made me laugh like you have over the years.
Sam, I'm
And
gonna stop you there. Guy, I'm gonna answer your question. I didn't feel like Sam was being sincere. No, that's a very that's a very sweet thing to say. But there's something irresistible about the anti-hero type fool who's trying to illustrate a point by
I
behaving
agree.
inappropriately. So like, Alan Partridge, Ricky Gervais,
oh,
like they're
Mhm.
all these are I mean, Partridge especially is my hero, but like and I say specifically Partridge, not Coogan. I love Coogan, don't get me wrong, but Partridge is just anything new that comes out of him. But yeah, there's something
Mhm.
so interesting about trying to prove a point by being the idiot.
Exactly. I agree. And Sarah's moved away from that because she doesn't want the confusion.
I don't know
I
if she
believe.
has. I think she's still capable of doing the same thing and still does do the same thing. But I think she's decided that the points that she has tried to prove in the past have either been proven, or she's now got this new awareness about herself. This is my opinion. I don't
Yeah.
know. This
Yeah,
new
yeah, yeah,
awareness
yeah.
about herself. I think she still applies the same tactics, but not quite as aggressively, because I think she's accomplished what she had to.
Yeah, it was no knock. It was just an observation that it's more appropriate, or it applies more to the old, 10 years ago, however many years ago, Sarah.
So it was not a knock. It was just an observation.
No,
Okay.
absolutely, because she's still hilarious.
Have you noticed that sometimes your observations seem like knocks sometimes?
I can concur.
Guilty, guilty is charged. Yes, I was going to say that. I've heard you mentioned you worship Partridge, and I've read Letterman, and the guy that I think was probably the biggest influence on you was Chris Elliott.
Oh, interesting. Nah, not really. I didn't know enough about Chris Elliott. I was really young watching Letterman shows, so I would see Chris Elliott.
You're not that young.
What do you mean? No, I said when I was young. Or did I?
I
What did I
know.
say?
But when was he on?
No,
He was
I'm saying I
you were an
remember seeing
adult.
it. Well,
Chris Elliott was
Weren't
on
you?
in the late '80s on Letterman.
80s.
I mean,
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, but I mean, I'm not a sophisticated person. I mean,
Okay.
I couldn't understand the nuance of what Chris Elliott was doing. I think when I was originally watching Letterman, I don't know.
I see.
But
Well, maybe he
maybe,
just seeped in subconsciously.
You were
yeah,
also a
maybe,
child.
maybe. But what I'm telling you is that I don't. I'm saying no. I wouldn't consider him an influence.
Hmm. Well, I think you
Ooh,
need to revisit that.
I have.
Maybe think about that.
I have.
Let's
Wait
just
a minute.
let's just take a break, and I want John to think about it,
Let me
and
go
then we'll
watch
come
some.
back in
Let me
about
watch some Chris
half an
Elliott.
hour.
Okay, be right
Okay.
back.
And we're back now.
Wow,
John, what do
that
you
was
think?
great. He's quite good. He's in Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, that's the same guy.
Yeah. No, yeah. He came up from the floors. He was sitting in the audience. So he did a great Marlon Brando impression as well.
Yeah, it was pretty with a beard.
Yes,
Marlon with a beard.
that's right. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, it was
He
very
did a
good.
great Morton Downey Jr. impression too.
He is now an influence. Yeah, yeah. So Chris
Mhm.
Elliott influenced me. Yeah, big time.
And he would also take off his shirt and show his misshapen, grotesque body like you do.
No.
What are you talking
See,
about?
it's just an observation, John. I'm not judging here.
What are you talking about?
Well, like he wasn't ashamed. Like I would be ashamed to take off my shirt in public.
You're ashamed
But
walking
you
around with a shirt.
true. But now I can wear a mask over my face and nobody has to see it. But yeah, like for comedic purposes, it's great when you take off your shirt,
Yeah, it's not what you
you know,
said,
and
though. You said,
what did I say?
well, the way you phrased it suggested that Chris Elliott wasn't afraid to take off his shirt off his grotesque body for laughs. And then
Mhm.
you said, just like you, John, which implied that, I mean, am I being shamed here?
I think you're being really sensitive.
Okay.
I don't mean that at all.
Okay. I don't, I'm willing to move past this. I'm just trying to tell you how I felt about something. If you're not willing to receive my feelings and treat them seriously, that's also okay, but I probably won't open up or be vulnerable with you again. Your
Okay, what
choice.
would you like from me?
Man.
What would you like from me?
Well, I just want to know, how did you intend it? And I want you to be honest. Were you genuinely saying, John, you have a gross body and you use it for laughs? Or did you misspeak?
I think the former, but I wouldn't say grotesque. That was
you
just
did say
for
It did.
I know, but now I wouldn't because
Now you would. You
that
know
was
what?
just for effect. But what I mean is,
No, you know what,
like
that is called growth, and that is what I love to hear. You
if it
did,
is
but now you wouldn't. Thank you.
yeah, it looks like a big growth. That's what I'm saying when you take off your shirt.
Oh, man.
That's a horsey
Right?
body.
You
John.
said it this time, not me.
God, I just keep feeding him fastballs down the middle.
Mhm.
He hits them out of the park.
Hey, speaking of Letterman, though, what's your opinion on his beard?
Has he still got it?
I believe so.
Yeah. Yeah, love it. Fine with it. Has Leno got a beard now?
I don't think he can grow a
He
beard.
should.
That'd
He
be
should.
great if Leno started a huge beard competition with Dave and never talked about it. Just like, whatever, yeah. I get it caught in the engine when I go to work on my I love Letterman's beard. I have no problem with it whatsoever. I don't even know why it's a conversation
See,
point.
you are a responsible man, and you keep your beard trimmed. Same with Sam most of the time.
Most of the
Yeah,
time.
but why would hold on, guy, what's going on with you? Why would a beard have to be trimmed? I mean, there's some beautiful, long, bushy beards. It says a lot about a person. He's entered retirement. He's now got the big beard. He's covering up. I think it's a new
Right.
phase in his life. I'm fine with it. I have no problem with it.
Hey, one thing you do on Humour Resources is you do a deep dive into your guest and you challenge them on things, sometimes old tweets. And I want to talk about one tweet that you wrote and tell me how you think
leave it.
Tell me what if you think this
You're the worst.
holds up.
You're the
wait,
worst.
Wait, listen.
Before you do that, let me explain something here. When
Let
we
me-
do our research on our shows, we don't try and find skeletons in people's closets. What we do is we try to shine a light on areas that are not problematic and treat them as problematic. That's what we
Well,
do.
hear
with
me
our
out.
guests.
Hear me out,
We
John.
respect them.
Hear me out. This is what I've written down. April 30th, 2018. You wrote clocks go ahead this weekend. Just a heads up.
I knew you were going to mention this.
How does this hold up?
Leave it. I'm embarrassed.
Okay.
I didn't know that the clock. I never know when the clocks go ahead. I just go by feel.
Yeah, right? I mean, I'm reading this after the fact. Not everybody reads it right when you tweet it. So then I put my clocks ahead when they shouldn't be going ahead.
I know, but what you're suggesting is that I mislead people by telling them that clocks go ahead or go back, and I get the days wrong. Every year I tweet it out twice a year, at least, and yeah, people get upset. But I genuinely thought the clocks went ahead, and I thought they went back at another time of year, but I get them wrong. I always get them wrong. And I'm sorry.
Okay.
I went to Algonquin College. I was a butcher at one point. I struggled to complete high school.
Just so you know, though.
All coming full circle.
Yeah, some people make mistakes. And maybe you shouldn't be so hard on your guests.
Aw.
I mean, I'll put out a tweet right now. What would it be? Clocks go forward? Let's try this out right now.
No, don't do it.
The Ottawa Senators won tonight. Beauty. Beat the Leafs.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm fine with it. I need something to look forward to.
Did that finish an hour ago or 2 hours ago?
I just noticed a text come in from my mother saying she's dancing, and that can only mean one thing. The Ottawa
Senators win.
It's the only time she dances.
Another quote of yours from 2011. When you were living in California, I believe, right? You said, I miss Toronto and the familiarity, but whenever I get sentimental, I think about the weather and it's gone. And now tell us again where you live now.
I live in a place called Alaska. I live in Juneau, Alaska.
Because the weather is so much better than Toronto's.
No, I didn't move here for the weather. I moved here.
Yeah, why did you move?
I met a human woman and then realized, well, if this is going to work, then I should probably move here. Her job keeps her here. She has a daughter who's in school. So it made sense for a traveling stand-up comedian to move to Juneau, Alaska. And then I can always fly out on weekends to do my shows. And I can always get to Los Angeles. Now, if I have to stay there for a few months, I do. But then the pandemic hit, Sam.
And you're stuck there.
I'm fucking stuck. Can I say that?
You can.
You have to bleep that?
Yes. No.
Sorry about that. No, I'll stay away from it. Well,
What's
there's no
comedy
way.
like?
We don't have to bleep it.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so I didn't move here for the weather. However, yeah, I do miss California very much.
Oh, really? I was going to ask, like, do you like it in Alaska?
No. Not
you
really.
don't?
It's all right.
Because weren't you living up in the woods in California? So you were kind of
I was
rural anyway.
Well, I lived up in Lake Arrowhead, which is, for those who don't know, it's like, what, 2 hours east of Los Angeles. Hour and a half on a good day if you've got the S4 on the go and you're in the
Nice.
carpool lane. Thanks very much, Sam. It is the best of the Audis, in my opinion, and affordable.
Relatively, yeah.
Relatively, and I bought pre-owned, certified,
Oh.
at a great warranty. Anyway, that's not the point of this. The point
No.
is, yeah, I was living up in the mountains of the San Bernardino Mountains in California. But here's the thing, Guy and Sam, is that I'm a 20-minute drive from sunshine, no matter what. And I mean, I still have sunshine up in the mountains, but if it's cold and snowing, then I just drive down the mountain, hit the casino, and walk around some patios, drink some beers, have a good time. What's wrong with that? You guys got to live your life. You never do. You never do. You're just like, how do we get another podcast up and going? Let's stay in our basements. No, get out. Enjoy yourselves.
Yeah.
It's almost over.
I know some things about Juneau, Alaska,
What do you know?
that it is bigger than Rhode Island.
What?
Did you know that?
No, I did
Yeah.
not. But I wouldn't even know
In-
how big Rhode Island is. Oh, I
Yeah.
see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah. Juneau, Alaska,
Yeah, like-
is bigger than Rhode Island? The city
Yeah,
of Juneau?
in area. Yeah.
Maybe.
Juneau, Alaska is inaccessible by car.
Correct.
That's crazy. So
Yeah.
everyone there has a car, and I guess they can take a car onto the ferry to get it off or
Yeah.
to get it away from
Yeah.
Juneau.
You can take a ferry. You can ferry here. If you have a car, you put it on a ferry and go wherever you want. We've done that before. We went to a place called,
Yeah.
anyway, it doesn't matter. We took a ferry to another place in Alaska. It was great. But yeah, you either fly in or you ferry in. It's the only way to access Juneau, Alaska. We're not an island, but we're landlocked by an ice field that you cannot penetrate.
Yeah.
You cannot run a road through it. Okay. But we're pretty much northern British Columbia. I mean,
That's pretty cool.
we're I can't tell if you're being serious. Guy's a tough nut to crack sometimes. Guy, wait a minute. You're in Vancouver at the moment, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Look up.
As is Sam. Look up.
Yes.
Yes.
There
I'm
I
looking
am.
up.
Yeah.
There I am.
Oh, hey,
Oh,
John.
John.
What's going on, guys? How's
Have
it
you been
going?
looking at us the whole time?
I've been looking down. You look great, man.
I should put
Both of
some
you.
pants on.
Yeah. Well, I was
I
gonna
also
say,
know.
and you don't need to wear your baseball cap indoors there, guy.
Oh,
Did I get it?
you got it.
Are you wearing a hat?
Boom. No.
Oh shit. That would have been fun. I got too excited.
You know, I hate wearing hats, but I have to. It's a necessity.
The rain?
No, I think the cold,
The
because
sun?
your head gets really cold, and then the sun, you get sunburn.
Yeah, I agree. A
Yeah.
hat's not bad. So you hate wearing it, but what hat have you settled on? Baseball?
Right now, I'm wearing a Killarney baseball hat. Yeah, I've looked at other sort of fashionable hats. I can't pull it off. I'm
I
not
agree.
a hat guy.
I agree. I
Yeah.
can't do it either. It's got to be a baseball cap.
I'd love to, though.
I love how you're wearing a basketball hat. That's so
For a
funny.
high
Yeah.
school.
Phrase. But the baseball cap is the only functional piece of sporting equipment that's worn in a game that we can wear in everyday life, and no one will look strangely at you. It sounds like
That
you
is
can't-
true.
You can't wear a football helmet around. And you're like, I just love the Dolphins. What do you want? Leave me alone. Or what else?
That's what
Basketball
else?
shorts.
Well, I mean, people do wear bowling shirts.
Hockey
That's not really a
Yeah, bowling
a,
shirts work
sport.
too. Bowling shirts and baseball.
Oh, golf shoes.
Hockey pants. Or no, hockey pads. What? I love the Flyers.
Chaps. You can wear chaps.
What are those for? Oh, for
horseback
horse
riding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah, people try and pull off the cowboy hat, but you're gonna get stares.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty
Oh.
much bowling shirts and baseball caps. It sounds like a one of those songs from that guy who sings about stuff.
That guy. It does. Hey, John, time for another cold read down below.
This is Jon Dore, and you're listening.
No, below that one. Below that one.
Oh, I see. They stick around. How come we can't get rid of that one? Can I get
I
rid
don't
of it?
know.
Let me see if I can
Nope.
get rid of it. No, I can't.
You can't.
Okay. Hello, listeners. This is comedy legend Jon Dore.
Maybe you want to start again.
Hello, listeners. Hello, listeners. This is comedy legend Jon Dore telling you you're listening to a show I'm not familiar with. What's so funny? With my dear, dear, close personal friend Guy McPherson and his sidekick Sam Tonning, who's currently on his probation. I'm going to do it again. I know you can pick it up, but this is a long read. Hello, listeners. This is comedy legend Jon Dore telling you you're listening to a show I'm not familiar with. It's called What's So Funny with my dear, dear, close personal friend Guy McPherson and his sidekick Sam Tonning, who's currently on his probationary period on CFRO 100.5 FM Vancouver Co-op Radio.
Boom.
And here, let's cut this in. And here's Cheap Trick.
Done. We get a few seconds in there. Tate, what was your highlight in your career on the Blues, the Brookfield Blues basketball
Oh my
team?
God, good for you. This is great. Brookfield Blues. Well, I mean, it would have been 10th grade because 11th grade. I could have stayed in junior basketball, but that would have been ridiculous. And I jumped up to senior basketball, and we had a great run into the playoffs. We lost, but that would have been the highlight for sure because that's
Were you a starter?
Yes.
Oh,
course.
wow.
Yeah.
Grade 11 starter.
I loved basketball. It was everything to me. I played it all day, everywhere. Yeah, go ahead.
High game? Like a high point game?
Oh,
Were you a scorer?
I mean, no, I wasn't like in hindsight, like I had much to learn, but no, not a great scorer, but not a bad one. I fought for rebounds. I love getting in there, boxing people out. I'd throw an elbow or two. The only place could be a little bit aggressive, but yeah, I cared so much. I played every single day, and when you give up everything to just basketball and one thing, it's so healthy and fun. It's a good obsession. So yeah, great memories with basketball.
Awesome, but not grade 12. You moved on because you
Drugs,
took
alcohol, smoking,
Right.
parties, not going to school. That's when it all started. Yeah, 12th grade,
Right.
and then 13th grade, and then I had to drop out.
Okay.
Shouldn't do
Would you
cocaine on
vote
a
for
weeknight. Go ahead.
Would you vote for Ben Mulroney for PM?
Ben would never run for PM.
I think that there was talk of that because
There's no way.
his childhood friend Justin is currently prime minister, and now there was talk of, well, Ben Mulroney should run.
There's no way Ben would run for prime minister. I've spoken to Ben. If he ran, I mean, I would put money on it that he wouldn't. Let me ask Ben right now. Joey, let's get him on the show.
Please.
Would I vote for him? I don't. Well, who's running against him? What's his platform? What are his policies? Come on.
So that's good.
Vote for someone.
That is good because he's a friend of yours. And, I say this, if a friend of mine were running for any office, it's not a given that I'm going to vote for him. So I like your answer there, John.
I
thanks
donated
so much.
to a friend of mine who was running for office, and I didn't vote for her.
You donated, but you didn't vote for
Yeah,
it.
you gotta-
That's a good
is
concession.
Weird. No,
well, you get
that
a
is
tax
awful.
write-off,
Okay.
and
Well-
it's like a different riding, so I couldn't vote for her.
Oh, but you would have if you were in that riding.
No.
Okay. Well, then back to what you said originally. Yeah, I wouldn't vote for Ben unless I knew about his policies, but I think he's a lovely human being. And
That's
yeah,
nice.
He would never
Because
do
you
it.
worked with him on Canadian Idol, of course, in case
Yeah.
people forget. I didn't watch it, but I wish I had because I think it sounds more fun than the American one because you're on it.
It was charming. I loved it. I love meeting those people, traveling the country, hanging out with. The process of making the show was the best part for sure. But I think we did a couple of really incredible things. Actually, our best of the worst show, or no, we called it best and the worst, not best of the worst. We called it best and the worst show. I think is worthy of an award. If you're giving out awards for live television shows, that is the award that should. Guy, I'll have to send it to you. It's genuinely
Please.
hilarious and great. Yeah.
I'd love to see it. But make no mistake, it won no award.
I don't think it was even submitted. But
Okay.
no, it was a really fun show to be a part of. And yeah, Ben was I'd still call him a friend, but we were definitely friends then.
Yeah. And I would like to also test your memory going back again to October 2001. Tell me, who were the other guests with you on OTR?
Holy shit.
On the panel.
October 2001. I was on that show twice.
Oh, so the first time.
Oh, okay. Now, Brent Butt.
No. Was
Oh,
that the
then
first one? Then
okay.
maybe I have the information for
I
the
don't know.
second one.
No, I don't know. Let me try this. Kevin Smith.
No.
Okay, so that was the different show. Brent Butt and Kevin Smith were on the same show. Now I've cleared up my mind. I have no idea who was on that show. Was there a wrestler,
There was a hockey player, there was a guitarist, and an author.
a hockey player, a guitarist, and an author walk onto
You
a
talked
set?
about terrorism, hockey, and baseball.
I don't remember this at all. Who were they? I'd love
Well,
to know.
Mike Gartner,
Okay, that's the baseball player. Go ahead. Go
uh,
ahead.
oh, is he baseball?
No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
He's Hall of Fame hockey
Okay.
player.
Rick Jacket, the guitarist.
Who did he play guitar for?
I'm looking it up right now.
It was a band I hadn't heard of.
Are you ready? John, can you 3 guesses
3 guesses.
for
I couldn't tell you.
Rick
Canadian band?
Jacket? Yes.
Canadian band?
I think so. Yes.
Is Jacket in the name of the band?
No.
Oh, I have no idea. Finger 11.
That's it. You guessed it.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Really?
That can't be
How
it.
did you come up with that?
I
Yeah,
don't
they're
know.
Finger 11. Rick Jacket is a member.
I've just thought of a Canadian band. Did I really get it?
Wow.
You're joking.
Yeah, no, it's Finger 11.
I didn't even know if they were around then. Okay.
They were. They
I
were
mean, yeah.
formed in 1990,
Oh, wow. I
which
feel
is insane. But yeah.
Huh.
Wow.
Okay. Who else was on the
So-
show? Rick Jacket.
Well, an author. They didn't say who the author was. I was hoping that you would be able to tell me. It just said
Oh.
an author.
No idea. But yeah,
But
that was
so
that
you
was
have
a fun
no
show.
memory of this?
No. I don't have many memories,
Really?
by the way. I've had quite a run with clonazepam, so my memory's not great. So I don't even know if that's what I need to chalk it up to. But I've had a couple seizures. That'll throw your brain around in your head.
I remember
And,
this. You were playing poker.
Yeah, that's right. It fell down apparently because I woke up in the
Wow.
hospital 45 minutes later. No idea how I got there. But yeah, so a couple seizures and some ridiculous diazepams, and then getting older. I have no idea who was on that show. Clueless.
Wow. Interesting.
I know
Yeah.
Landsberg was there. Michael Landsberg.
He was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Landsberg was there both times. Yeah. I don't remember any of that. I remember Brent Butt was on the same episode with Kevin Smith.
That sounds like a great episode with you three. And then there was a fourth, probably. Do you remember the fourth?
I was extremely insecure. I was a young kid, no idea how I even got on that program. It made no sense to me, but it somehow happened. But I'll tell you this: speaking of Kevin Smith on that show, I remember afterwards Kevin Smith kept telling me how much I shouldn't watch Family Guy because it's a terrible show. I remember that specifically. Was don't watch
Wow.
it. It's bad. Yeah, and
Well,
I
I've
love
taken
that
his
show.
advice.
Oh, because I asked him if he was excited about American Dad, and he's like, no. And the reason was because of that. So yeah, I'd be curious. I could follow. If I ever run into him, I would follow up. I'd be curious to know if he ever.
Yeah, I wonder if
had a
he's
change of
changed
heart.
his opinion.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
I know lots of people who disapprove of that show.
I don't say that I disapprove of it. I just don't watch it.
There you go.
Unlike
But I
your
know
show,
what
Jon
you do watch.
Dore,
I knew it. I love it.
Human Resources. And I want to ask you
Resources.
before we go, that's
Humor.
Oh yeah, Humour Resources. Humor. You select a guest, and some are great, just like on this show, and then sometimes, like tonight, they may not be so good.
Oh,
But
man.
so any of the people that you selected were just like it was harder to get material out of them, or was everyone fantastic? You don't need to
No.
name names.
We have a wonderful, we prep really well. Most of our show is we hire a researcher who does a deep dive into, bullet points about, it's fun as an HR manager to be armed with information about every guest. So even date of birth, transcripts of their performances. So we dig in really hard and find stories that relate to the theme, and we shoot for an hour and a half. So it's impossible not to get a good interview, in my opinion. So no, there wouldn't be one, and they're so diverse. Some of my favorites are Arthur Simeon and Deborah DiGiovanni, who are coming up. They're in episode.
Oh, I haven't seen those.
Oh my God, those are two of my favorites, and I love the process of. I wonder if people understand what it's like for me to say those are my favorites and it's the show that I created. But like to be able to research the show, write the show, interview people in the show, input on the edit, like it's really fun to see it come to life. So yeah, I think everyone is great for different reasons. We show clips of people and what we do
Yeah.
differently with their stand up. So yeah, I don't think there's no one. I mean, we ran out of time for everyone. That's the only problem is you run out of time and then you have to lose things that would be great, but you sacrifice them for story because it has to
Well,
relate
can
to
you?
the theme.
Yeah, can you use some clips because you're talking to them for an hour and a half? Can you use some clips for other shows later?
We could make I mean, we could technically. I'll tell you this right
Yeah.
now. Nikki Glazer appears in another episode because she just had so much stuff. Everyone did, but
Yeah, I saw that she was coming up, and I was wondering if it was another interview or if it was the same from the same
same
interview.
interview, just she had so much extra stuff, so we treated it as I get an impromptu. I get a phone call from her, and I decide to take the meeting until another meeting interrupts. But yeah, she just said so much great stuff. No, everyone was wonderful. I mean, there's no one like Reggie Watts was exactly as we predicted, weird and cosmic, and this guy
Yeah.
that I couldn't quite put in a box, and an HR manager would want to but can't. So that was fun. Arthur is great. He just pushes back
Mhm.
really hard. He's really
Oh, good.
funny. Deborah is wonderful. Yeah, everyone. Yeah, I'm thrilled with everyone's interview.
That's great, and we hope there's more than 6, but we're gonna enjoy the 6 that are there. I just watched this on demand, but what night is it on? When can people who watch TV watch it?
They can watch it on CBC 9:30 Tuesdays, 9:30 p.m. Tuesdays. Watch Humor Resources on CBC, or you can watch it on the app CBC Gem.
On
Well, there you
demand.
go, you can watch that anytime.
If you
What does it follow?
Well, it was following Baroness von Sketch.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if that stays the same next week. I'd have to look it up.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But
I'm not
that's a
sure.
solid hour.
Yeah, absolutely. I love.
And you've been on Baroness von Sketch.
I have, yes, a couple of times. Yeah, I love that show, but I don't think they're doing it anymore. And did
I
I hear
think
this?
it's
Oh, really?
finished its run, yeah.
Yeah, it's either their last season or their last season's coming up. I think this is their last season, but who knows? Maybe they're moving on to other things. But yeah, I thought
Yeah.
it was a great show.
You only have one Vancouver comedian as a guest, and that's Sophie Buttle.
Yeah, Sophie is great too. That whole episode is diabolical. That is episode 4 with Scott Thompson, Sophie Buttle, and Eric Andre. So that is stat.
Wow.
That one is
Oh,
stat.
man.
Oh, the Scott interview is incredible because yeah, we dive into his appearance at the Griffin Awards in 2001. I don't know if you remember that guy or read about it.
No,
Oh, just
no.
Google Griffin Awards Scott Thompson and just have fun reading it. And that's what we talk about most of the time.
Well, for a period of time, he was one of those guests, usually on Conan, where it was a guarantee. He's on, you gotta watch it. You remember that?
Yeah.
Like,
I,
he's just and then when I interviewed him, uh, just a phoner for the paper, it was like the same thing. He's one of the best interviews you could ever have.
He is relentless and he will in the best way. Like he's so punk rock, I think. Like he will talk to you about and has strong opinions about everything. Not a dry, dull moment with him at all. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I look forward to watching the next or the 3 that I haven't seen and hoping for more. John, it's been great talking to you.
Guy,
I'm looking up at you and waving now.
I know.
Up in Juneau.
I can see you. I'm waving down at you in Vancouver. I can see both of you. I'm
Yes.
using both hands at the moment. I'm actually doing it, which is weird. I'm waving my hands.
Same.
Same. But yeah, Guy, no, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on and chatting about the show. And yeah, Sam, great to
John.
meet you again.
Namaste.
Thanks. And folks, don't forget, clocks go ahead 1 hour this weekend.
Don't misinform people.
Good night.